Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. We're talking big moves and big statements this morning as Liverpool move closer to a big deal in January. We're talking Gehi. Will that happen? Is it the time for Liverpool to be doing that? And should Palace let him go? Can they stop him going? And also Erling Haaland hitting 100 goals, 100 Premier League goals in record time. How important is that? How good is Erling Haaland? We'll talk about that as well. But let's start off talking about this January transfer window. I'm hot on the heels of our morning show on the United stand saying how United don't really see it as an opportunity. I think it's a huge opportunity. And Liverpool could be taking that opportunity with Gehi. Remember, they nearly bought him. Final day of the summer transfer window. It didn't happen because Palace pulled the plug. He's out of contract. He's a free transfer in the summer. He can talk to Real Madrid or Barcelona or Bayern Munich on January the 1st because that's how the rules work. You can't talk to clubs in your own league, but Liverpool could put an offer on the table and get him in January. And why would Palace not do that? Because they might win the Conference League, they might finish in a European spot in the Premier League, he is their captain, but you're saying goodbye to maybe 20 million quid. And would Liverpool pay the 20 million quid or wait and do a deal in the summer? I personally think do the deal in January. I really do. Liverpool were going to spend this money anyway in August. So you've got some of that money. And as we've seen from Liverpool with Gakpo, and as we've seen from Chelsea with Enzo Fernandez, and as we saw from Man City last year with 2 or 3 players they brought in, bringing a player in January, there seems to be less pressure because it's halfway through the season. And also you establish them as a player for next season. And Gehi is Premier League proven. It's very rare, and I'll tell you now, get in the comments, when was the last time a decent Premier League player moved in January to another Premier League club? Gehi, in that Liverpool defence, if they're looking to, and at this moment in time, it looks like Arne Slot's okay again, but if they're looking to solidify their position in the top 4, which is essential, and if they're looking to potentially try and win the Champions League, which is possible, then somebody like Gehi, it's an open goal. The only reason this deal won't happen is financials. Whether Palace say we want £30 million for a player that's out of contract in 4 months, or whether Liverpool refuse to give 15, 25 million pounds for a player that's going to be free in 5 months. But I think it's a balancing act, and I always feel that as long as the financials aren't stupid, the football should be prevalent. The football should be the number one choice. And I would be saying, if I was Arne Slot, this is a player that's going to go straight into the team, that is one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League, that will make us stronger in an area where we've been weaker, and he will also give us an opportunity to be in the Champions League, positions in the Premier League, but also give us a chance of winning that, and also he will be ready for the start of next season as he'll be established, but he'll probably hit the ground running anyway. So obviously it's going to come down to the financials, but I think for me, you look at it and you go, I'll do that deal now for 20 to 25 million pounds. I would do it. That's my stance. Let me know what your thoughts are, because you're getting one of the best Premier League defenders in the league at the moment. And all right, you can wait till the summer and you can do it for free. But that's going to improve. What I'm trying to say is if it was Mateta and you look at Liverpool, you'd go, do we need to do that deal right here, right now? And, you probably would go, well, let's save the money and let's do it in the summer. But Gehi, it was a player they desperately wanted. I think, and look, he's going to want to do it, I think. And I think from Palace's point of view, yeah, you're losing your captain, but you're losing him for free in the summer. I think from Palace's point of view, however many millions it is, they're not the sort of club where they can say no to that, I don't think. So I think there's a deal there to be done. And you'd want to do it very early in the January transfer window, because ultimately, for Liverpool, every day of January, I never hit myself in the face with that. Every day in January that you don't do the deal, the money that you're paying, if you do that on January the 21st, you've lost 3 weeks of what you're paying for. So I think that deal would have to happen very, very quickly. Let me know your thoughts. In relation to Erling Haaland, 100 Premier League goals last night. I mean, we all knew it was going to happen. He's done it in record time. Fantastic game last night. I mean, brilliant game. Fair play to Fulham. I thought, Man City got the job done like they did against Leeds. And I've said it before, I think Manchester City are very entertaining. I think they're the best team Man United have played. And I think they're the best team to watch this season. And, I've always disliked Man City for obvious reasons, but I've always disliked Pep ball. This season, I'll applaud it. You know, there's no point having agenda. I think they are a very, very entertaining team to watch. In their last 2 games, there's been, God, let me do the maths. 3-2, that's 5 plus 9, 14 goals in 2 games. I mean, Man City are the team to watch at the moment, and Erling Haaland is going to thrive in a team like that. They're a little bit more direct. They're a little bit weaker at the back. And if Rodri comes back, I hope this continues because I want to see a title race. But in relation to Erling Haaland, I mean, where he registers in, you know, the greatest Premier League strikers of all time, I think there's a conversation about that, and he's certainly in the conversation for the best in the world at the moment. I think many of you would say he is the best in the world. I mean, for me, it's Haaland, Kane, Mbappe, and they all offer different things. I think Erling Haaland as a complete, monstrous, robotic striker in the penalty box is incredible. I think Harry Kane is a brilliant finisher, but he can also bring other people into play. And I think Mbappe is a brilliant finisher and a flair player. I mean, I think they're all 3 very, very different players. And, you know, give us your top 3. For personally, I still think I'm probably going to be controversial here and put Mbappe number 1, Kane number 2, and Haaland number 3, just because of preference of what I like. I like the flair player who takes people on. I like strikers who can also create. And Haaland's brilliant. But 100, I mean, look, would he have 100 Premier League goals playing up front for Fulham? No. Would he have 100 Premier League goals this quick playing for Man United? No. He's at the right club because he's one of the world's best players. And in that team, you're going to get a lot of opportunities. And he's took them. The flip side to that is, would Mbappe have scored 100 goals that quick? Would Harry Kane have scored 100 goals that quick? And honestly, I don't think you can answer that because I think they're capable of doing it. So you're talking about 3 incredible strikers, but I certainly don't think somebody like Callum Wilson would have 100 goals for Man City. I really don't. I think, you know, the volume of goals he's scored in such a short period of time is because he's one of the world's best strikers. And you know, this season, what I think is really interesting about Erling Haaland as well, and Harry Kane to a certain extent, and Mbappe to a certain extent, is these players. Ronaldo had it. Messi had it. Like, you take them out you take those players out those teams, and those teams are going to struggle, even though they're massive clubs with brilliant players. I think Man City without Man City without Erling Haaland wouldn't be where they are. Same with Bayern, same with Real Madrid. And he doesn't get injured that often as well, touch wood. So, you know, Ronaldo and Messi always had this ability to stay fit. So look, credit to him, credit to Man City. Very rarely say that, but you know, he's a joy to watch this season, and so are Man City begrudgingly, and he's, you know, certainly in that debate. And for many of you, he'll be the world's best striker. So you know, I always said this when Man City signed him. There's Manchester United fan, and then there's Premier League fan. And I think when these players are playing, it's a bit like Esteban at Chelsea at the moment. We very rarely get these young Brazilian talents that could be superstars in the Premier League young. They're normally at Barcelona or Real Madrid. So it's a credit to the Premier League to have these types of players. And he's smashed that record. And what I will say is, I don't think anyone's going to get close to that record for a very long time, because I don't see any strikers coming through at the moment. I actually think that being a striker is a dying breed. There doesn't seem to be that many strikers out there now coming through. So how long will that record last? Let me know. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. Don't forget, tonight it's another Premier League watch-along night. We're live at 7:30. Make sure you tune in for that. It was brilliant last night.